everyone, welcome back to my channel where we are growing, glowing, and achieving. I'm Shadrika, mindset coach to women who want to break through mindset barriers that are keeping them from abundance and ease of success. So today's video is about how I got started in EFT and my journey up until this point. So my journey starts around 2018, probably even before then, when I felt myself losing confidence and I start to feel procrastination set in and a lot of imposter syndrome because I wanted to step out of the world of sonography, which is what I currently do. I really think it was just the job placement and where I was at the moment. But I wanted to branch out into starting my own blog and everything. And starting a business will definitely teach you some valuable lessons. And I definitely felt some lessons that needed to be learned. It also brings up a part of you that you didn't know was in there. Basically, any childhood trauma you're going to have to face because you want to overcome it so that it doesn't hold you back in being successful. And I didn't realize how much of things that happened to me in the past I was holding on to, things that people have said to me before, of, not achieving something or them thinking that I wasn't worthy of achieving more or anything like that. And also just the fears that come up with trying to grow a business and everything. I noticed that I was just comparing myself to everyone and everything that I came across, which I'm pretty sure we all do. And I was also at the time working overnight shift at a hospital, and it was just brutal. Mentally, physically, emotionally, it was very draining. I was trying to have a social life. I was trying to be, at that time I was engaged, so I was trying to be present as becoming a wife. I was trying to be a great daughter, sister, friend to everyone, and trying to do all the things and everything all at once. And it was taking a toll on me. So I remember walking past the mirror in the bathroom, and I think I had just worked the night before, or maybe I had the night off or something, but I just remember being extremely tired. And I walked past the mirror because I was heading out of the bathroom, and I had to do like a double take before I could even walk out the door because I couldn't recognize myself. I didn't look like Shadrika. I don't know who I look like. I look like probably this rundown woman who was trying to do everything and all the things all at once and not realizing that it was just too much. And I started to let my self-care go. I started to let myself go, and mentally I was drained. So at that time, there was my now husband's coworker. She was going to be at a pop-up shop, and this was pre-pandemic, and she had her own booth set up, so she was doing like yoni steams and other like yoni eggs and stuff like that to let you place up in there and stuff. So she was very cool. I love her. She had invited me to the pop-up shop. She sent me the invite through text, and I remember the day came, and I remember seeing on the flyer before the day came that there were going to be some waist beads there. Like there's another lady there that was going to be selling waist beads. So I really wanted to go because I really wanted waist beads. I always wanted waist beads, but I never saw like a place that would sell them like in person. Basically, I didn't want to buy them online because I wanted them to be tied on in person. So this was my opportunity to go get these waist beads. And the day of the event, it was kind of cloudy, like an overcast. I think it had been raining on and off. And I realized that I didn't tell anyone else about this event. So that means I was gonna have to go by myself. And this would have been the first time, I want to say the first time ever that I had been to an event by myself. Like, not brought somebody else with me or even told them to meet me there. This was kind of just, I guess this was something that I just needed to do for myself. And looking back, I realize that now But in that moment, I was just so uncomfortable with the feeling of going by myself that it was kind of too late to tell someone else to go, but I really wish someone else was there with me. So I ended up going to the event, and I walk in, and it's inside of a boutique. It was like a clothing store that was owned by a Black woman, and everyone else, all the other vendors, it was kind of small, so there was only maybe like 4 or 5 tables set up, and all of them were Black women, which I was so like just proud to see that all of these Black women are here with their businesses, and just happy. And the space was just so warm and inviting that I felt at peace almost. It was just like I was just supposed to be there. So I walked in, I go straight to the food table because, awkward situations, you just want something in your hand so that way you're not just standing around just like looking. You want to be like munching on something and scoping out the place at the same time. So that's what I was doing. And of course I seen the friend there, and I spoke to her, but she was also like setting up, and people were starting to come in, so she was like greeting people and stuff like that were walking up to her booth. So I couldn't just like hang around, so I started just chatting it up with another girl I ended up meeting. She was very sweet. I don't remember her name though, but we just started talking about everything. And then I finally made my way over to the waist bead area because she had already had someone else there that she was trying waist beads on, so I was kind of just waiting around for that customer to finish. And so I finally made my way over there, and she's very warm and inviting as well. She tells me to pick because I wanted two, so she tells me to pick 2 waist beads that are just speaking to me, or the ones that I'm feeling drawn to or anything like that. So I pick out my 2 waist beads, and in that moment was when I felt that was the beginning of my self-care journey. Was when she was tying the waist beads on, I could feel almost a sense of like, this is it. Like, this is the start of this journey, and getting back to that place of me and just loving myself again. And those waist beads, I still have one of them on to this day. I ended up getting a couple more put on after that, maybe like a year or so later after that. I ended up getting a couple more put on, and I actually ended up losing 2 of them. Well, one of them broke, and then, well, actually they both ended up breaking. But to me, that, like, I was kind of sad at first, but then when I actually thought about it and looked at it, that just symbolized that those waist beads that broke off, that they have served the purpose of bringing me on this journey, and that I can still keep going on this journey to self-love as well. So I ended up only having one left, and I think last year or the year before I thought about just cutting it off because I was like, well, I think I've reached a point in my journey where I don't need this remembrance of what the waist bead stood for. But then I never got around to cutting it off. Every time I said I was going to cut it off, I ended up just leaving it on and just leaving it alone. And I'm so glad that I did leave it on, because every time I look down at it when I'm in the bathroom, like in a mirror, or just if I'm wearing a top where you can see it poking through or so, it just reminds me of where it all started and what I had been through and everything. And last year I actually ended up getting another one tied on for another symbolic meaning, and I'm just glad that I was able to get those on as well. Now on to the EFT, which EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It is where you are tapping, literally tapping on pressure points on your face, your top of your shoulders, like where your collarbone meets underarm and top of head. These pressure points are also used in acupuncture, and they help to release unwanted emotions. They also can help bring in positive changes. It can help with reframing negative thoughts to positive thoughts. It can help with just reframing our thinking in general. You can tap in more confidence. You can tap away overwhelm or anxiety, or just like any feeling that you're feeling in that moment that you want to release and let go. That's what EFT has done for me and for other people that I have introduced to it as well. I was first introduced to it through my good friend, Shanielle. She was helping me with some party decorations because I used to have like a party slash balloon setup business, which I'm thinking about revamping the balloon portion. Party planning is a whole nother game. It's a lot. But at the time I had a party to set up for, and she was helping me with doing some of the decorations beforehand, like prepping everything. So she came over, she had her laptop with her, and we were just talking and catching up, and she was telling me about EFT, and I had never heard of it before. So she explained to me what EFT was, and then she said, have you been feeling like any, because when we were talking and catching up, I was just telling her how overwhelmed I had been feeling and how it was just a lot going on. And she said, that's when she introduced EFT, and then she said, do you want to do it? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? So she brings up her, she opens up her laptop, brings up this video of a Black woman doing the motion of the EFT and guiding you through it. And when I first did it, it was just very awkward because it was like, what is this? Like tapping on my body? Like, I don't know if I really feel any different or anything like that. But then as you do it again, you realize that, okay, yes, this is helping to, one, acknowledge what it is that I'm feeling. Because I used to not do that. I used to just suppress it and not even bring up my feelings or what it was that I was going through. I would just push it down and just move on past it. And two, it also helps me to, like, once I acknowledge it, it helps me to let it go, because I'm not suppressing it anymore. I'm actually going through the emotion and letting it go and releasing it. So now it's kind of part of my routine. I'm trying to get better at my morning routine. So I do EFT in the mornings. I don't want to say every morning, but just about maybe twice or 3 times a week. I will do EFT in the mornings when I'm getting dressed for work. I have affirmations on a sticky note on my mirror in the bathroom. So I actually use those as my guides through the EFT, and I will also guide myself through responses myself, like just other positive affirmations too as well for anything that I'm feeling. After my friend introduced EFT to me and we did it during that session, I didn't really pick it back up until probably several months later, almost a year later, when I was talking to my husband about becoming a mindset coach, because I feel like there are a lot of women that are like me who just needs some tools and techniques in our little basket of self-care that we can use to help us get through whatever it is that we're going through, and help us to bring in more abundance, more confidence, more just love for ourselves as well. So he actually came across a post of a different coach that showed that she was taking this program. So I ended up signing up for the program after I was reading through everything and saw that this was a good match for me. And then in that program, which is the mindset coaching program that I went through, was where I actually learned more about EFT and also other tools as well as like hypnosis, time techniques, reframing, and just a whole bunch of other things too. That actually going through that program and doing the techniques and everything that I learned helped me to tap into where exactly the emotions of feeling unworthy or lack of confidence or just feeling like I'm having to prove myself to other people actually stemmed from, and how to get through that so that way I can show up and be the best version of myself for me and for those around me as well. So EFT has been one of the best tools for me that I love to share with other people and just show them that there are ways to get through um, the lack of confidence or the feelings of unworthiness and etc. So yeah, I just wanted to share my story about how I overcame the feeling of lack of self-love, how getting the waist speeds helped me to set off my journey, which led me to becoming friends with Shangel and her guidance with everything as well, introducing me to EFT, which led to me becoming the mindset coach that I am today, so that I can help other women who want to achieve the same thing as well. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little mini story time, and make sure that you like this video. Let me know down in the comments if you have ever felt the feeling of overwhelm, or you heard someone say something about you, or they might have just said it directly to your face of how you shouldn't be doing this because you don't deserve it, or you shouldn't do this because of blank. Like, let me know down in the comments, because hearing those things, hearing those negative thoughts that other people project onto you really does something to your mental, because you can eventually carry those thoughts around with you, not even realizing it. And you might actually talk yourself out of getting promotions, or going for a job opportunity, or going for starting that business, or going to take up more classes to further your career or education, or just meeting new people. You can hold on to those negative thoughts that someone else has said to you, even though they probably were really talking about themselves, and now we hold on to it and don't even realize how much it's impacting our day-to-day lives. So just leave a comment down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Okay, have a great one.